What's going on, everyone? It's Stretford. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope everyone is doing well. Everyone's having a fantastic morning and everyone is enjoying the elements, of course, guys, which is a little bit of a break for Manchester United, but there is no break when it comes to Manchester United. That's why we are here. You know what? There's lots of transfer news, big transfer news going on in regards to Manchester United. News within 72 hours, some people are saying. 72 hours, Man United could have an update, either outgoing or ingoing. So it could be very interesting going forward, guys. Guys, before I start, please don't forget to smash a like on the video. And if you're new, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It really means a lot, guys. I'm on my way to 6,000 subscribers. Of course, it's absolutely incredible for me. You know, starting in June. Absolutely brilliant. And I have you guys to thank. You guys are the legends, of course, guys. And I'll never forget that. And if this channel does grow to what I want it to grow to, you guys will always be at the pinnacle of my mind. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Let's read some of your comments out first of all. Big up Sanjay, the legend Sanjay, the one and only Sanjay. What's going on, Sanjay? I hope you're doing well. And not speaking of legends, it's all about Rasta stocks. What's going on, Rasta? How you doing, my friend? Yo, so I've been thinking about what our manager said after the Liverpool match. Yeah, mate, you know what he said after the Liverpool match was quite telling, wasn't it? It was quite an eye-opener. Not only him, Bruno Fernandes as well. But I take what Bruno Fernandes says with a pinch of salt. I'll concentrate more what Ruben Amorim said, which is in regards to our application and how we treat certain games as opposed to how we treat other games. For example, playing very well, going toe-to-toe against Liverpool, should have beat Liverpool, and then losing to the likes of Bournemouth and Wolves and Nottingham Forest. It is a bit of an eye-opener, isn't it? And that is a bit like a representation of what Man United have been for the last years, of course. You know, where we like, do you remember when we beat Man City at the Etihad under Jose Mourinho and we came back and we from 2-0 down to win 3-2? Do you remember the next week? I think we lost to Burnley, wasn't it? Was it Burnley or West Brom? One of them. And we've done that before. That is what Man United do. And, you know, this is a culture at the football club that needs to go, and I hope it does, guys. But let's get into the transfer news, guys. Manchester United are interested in a loan deal for Mawani, of course. Of course, you probably heard it on other outlets. It was very late for me last night. I was fast asleep in bed, of course, guys. But Randall Mawani, of course, has been showing the interest of Manchester United for a long time now. It's been a few months that he's been spoken about as going to Man United. Look, a lot of people are saying, a lot of people are downhearted about Mawani. One thing I would say is that we ain't got him yet. It is a loan, right? And Tottenham Hotspur do want Mawani as well. So Man United do want to nip in for the Mawani deal before Tottenham Hotspur does. Now, there is a no-lose situation here for Man United. I know many people are saying, oh, but we want Osimhen, you know, we want Gutierrez, we want these players, you know. But the problem is, guys, we can't get Osimhen January. We can't at the moment unless we get rid of a player. And the problem is we got players like Marcus Rashford who are digging their heels in, who are not going to leave the football club. Added on top of that, Osimhen is on loan at Galatasaray. We can't just cancel loans and bring him back from Galatasaray. That is an issue as well. When it comes to Gutierrez, Ruben Amorim has said openly that he doesn't want to disrupt Sporting Lisbon's season. So what better chance to get a player like Mawani, who was highly rated, of course, for many years. I know he's not a prolific goal scorer, but he fits Ruben Amorim's team very well. Can we be choosy? Can we be spoiled and say, you know what? I don't want that player. He's not good enough. He's rubbish. He's this. He's Weg horse part 2, blah, blah, blah. Are we really in a position to say things like that, you guys? Are we really in a position to say we don't want Mawani? Because in my opinion, I think he's a good player. I think working under Ruben Amorim, it would be very good for him, of course. Ruben Amorim is a master at making attacking players look good, of course. You know, so I wouldn't say no to that. I wouldn't be opposed to that, you know, bringing Mawani in on loan, trial him, see how he does. What have we got to lose? And as I've heard many times, I think United Stan said it as well, that basically, let's say it's the Europa League final, right? And we got Rasmus Højlund up front. And Rasmus Højlund is knackered. It's extra time, right? It's extra time. Rasmus Højlund is knackered. We got Mawani. We bring on Mawani. No team wants to see Mawani coming on. Absolutely not. French international. I know people are going to judge him from the miss against, of course, Argentina in the World Cup final. I know that. I know. But you got to understand the circumstances, guys. World Cup final. Oh. Imagine the pressure on the lad. Imagine the pressure. He's a young lad back then. He is 26 now. He's just turned 26 on the 5th of 5th of December, of course, guys. So he is 26. So he is on the other side of the age limit that Ineos want. But you know what? It is still relatively young. Of course, his contract expires in 2028, of course. But the most likely transfer rumor, the most likely club he'll end up at is Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham Hotspur have nipped in with a loan offer for Moani. Man United need to do something about that. And Man United can possibly do something. At the moment, it's 60% sure he's going to Tottenham Hotspur. And you know what? Juventus are in there as well. You know, but Man United can nip in there and Man United could do the deal, I believe. And I think he's a good player in my humblest of opinions. I think he'll be a good player at Man United. I think it'd be brilliant to bring a player like that at Man United, in my opinion. A player of his quality, a player of his experience, more or less. Up front, we're severely lacking in experience, guys. When you think about Ahmad and Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund, very inexperienced in it. So at the end of the day, I would like Man United to get a little bit more experience up front, because we're lacking that in that area severely, of course, guys. Absolutely severely, guys. So let's see what happens, guys. Let's see where we go from there. And we go from there, of course, guys. Absolutely. So 72 hours. It is very important that keep an eye out from the notifications and stuff like that, because anything can happen at any time at Manchester United. You know what Manchester United are like, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know what Man United are like. And Man United can come out at the end. I mean, especially with Ineos, bang, Man United, this player's out, this player's in. It could be like that, isn't it? So you never know what's going to be around the corner, of course, guys. So it's a very, very important that you keep an eye on that transfer, of course, guys, which is Moani to Manchester United or Rashford out of Manchester United. There is a lot of news about Rashford. There's a lot of news about Anthony, and there is a lot of news about Casemiro as well, outgoings. Casemiro apparently is shown big interest in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia do have a foreign limit. They have a law on the hammer, a limit of players or foreign players that they can bring into the club. So it is very selective on what club Casemiro can go to in Saudi Arabia. Al Nassr, I believe, are at their limit of their quota in regards to foreign players. They're at their limit in regards to their quota. So it does look like that Al Nassr need to remove a player before Casemiro can go into that football club. When it gets to Anthony, of course, could be out of the door. There is obviously rumours about Anthony going to Newcastle United, which would be a great move for Anthony. The problem with Anthony, and the biggest problem that we've had over the last years, is the fact that we give these players so much money in contract that no one wants to go, no one wants to buy them because they're on too much wages. So the only thing Man United can do is work out a percentage deal with a team, a possible suitor for Anthony, in regards to we'll pay 50% of his wages. You get him, you get the player, we'll pay 50% of his wages, and then we can get a player in. And obviously that helps with their FFP. The deals could be done like that. Do you know what I mean? So you could pay a percentage fee. That could be a case. Because at the moment, a lot of these players are getting too much wages. Anthony, for example. The money that we would get for Anthony, of course, we can also do a deal where, you know what, they get Anthony for free, you know, and they pay his wages. Of course, we can get some money for Anthony on loan. We get a £5 to £10 million fee. You know, we can do that. But we can scrap that if they pay obviously the wage, of course, guys. We can scrap that, of course. Yo, what's going on, SLD, the legend? What's going on, brother? Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me, my friend. Hope you're good, brother. Hope you're good. And the goals for George, the legend. Well, it's not that bad as alone. He is more info-fine than Rasmus and has more tools to his box regarding his skills. Also, must possibly say that no, due to the Gala fans, but privately he knows he can't miss it. It's a hard one, isn't it, goals for George? And you know what? I love Osman. I love, Moani to come to Manchester United. Obviously, the most difficult one to do is Osman. Galatasaray, very passionate fans. You know what Galatasaray fans are like. And you can see it from their rivalry with Fenerbahce and Besiktas and those teams. And Istanbul, Başakşehir, of course, guys. I went to Turkey in the summer, and the passion that these guys have for their football clubs is absolutely astronomical. I was speaking to people at Galatasaray and Fenerbahce and Besiktas, and I was talking about the Kadioglu deal at the time, you know, and most of those people were like, oh, he's going to Man United. Kadioglu's going to Man United. You need the left foot, don't you? Didn't happen, did it? But we were talking about Osman, and we were talking about, you know, other players and stuff like that, you know, and in regards to Galatasaray, if you disrespect their badge, If you disrespect their badge, you're not coming back from that, guys. You are not coming back from disrespecting that badge. So it is a big chunk of pressure for Victor Osimhen to come to Man United now. Maybe it's better for Osimhen to finish his loan and come to Man United in the summer. Who knows? But Mawani, 26-year-old, experienced French international, can play various positions around that top 4-3, of course, guys. Is a very, very good, shrewd move for Man United on loan, of course. And if it doesn't work out, you can just go get rid of him at the end of the season. No lose situation. I would say yes. I would say yes, guys. Absolutely yes. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum salam. Lies around me. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Let's get it right. Colo is better than Rasmus and Xerxes. Come on, let's be real United fans. He is. Of course he is. He's 26, lies around me. He's 26, a French international, played in the World Cup final. He's a lot older as well. You got to remember. You know what I mean? I would argue that Rasmus would have scored that goal in the World Cup final. But anyway, let's forget that. You know what? He's much older. He's much more experienced. You know, he's been around the block a lot more time. You know, we have to wait and see how he does. If he comes to Man United, there we go. Here's your canvas. Paint. You know what I mean? That's what I would say to him. You know, if you want, you're good, right? Show us. Come to Man United. Come to Man United and light the house on fire. Absolutely. That's what you should do. And I mean, at the end of the day, I want nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. Than a player to come into this football club and say, you know what, and absolutely tear the place down and do amazing. I said, wow, Mawani, what a player. You know what I mean? And we'd be like, what a signing he has been. That's what I want, of course. People are talking about Vlahovic transfer. Good in the apology. He is on 420 or 300 per week. No wonder Juventus are willing to trade him. And you're absolutely spot on. Vlahovic is on that astronomical wage, of course. Man United do want to do a deal for Vlahovic, but he's not on the top of their list. What Man United want to do is do a deal, obviously, with Rashford and use Rashford as a mate weight in the transfer. So basically, what Man United will be doing is saving on buying another player. Yeah, because at the moment, Marcus Rashford is a big problem at Man United, a massive problem. So what can they do? They can use Marcus Rashford as a mate weight. I personally feel that Vlahovic is not the guy we're going to go after. As you said, the wages are a problem. And to be honest with you, 24 years old, not a bad player. And we can't judge him until he's played in the Premier League, of course. But I just believe that there are other better options out there. I even feel like there's cheaper options out there. I would much rather Man United do a deal for Victor Osimhen with Rashford going the other way. I would like to do that. Antonio Conte is a big fan of Marcus Rashford, and we can get him through the door, of course. I mean, if we can get him at Napoli, that'd be absolutely fantastic, of course, guys. Whoa, I'm out of breath, guys. Guys, I've been on the treadmill, right? I've been on the treadmill. I just literally finished treadmill, had a shower, and I'm here, guys, with you guys. Goodness me. It's hard to catch your breath with the Man United news, of course, guys. Man United news is like, boom, it's like every single day. It's like one after the other, of course, guys. But thank you for joining me this morning. You absolute legends. Goals for George. But truth be told, Galatasaray can easily replacement as there are many strikers who are cheaper than a track they could do the job for them. Goals for George. One thing I would say, right? Not many managers and not many football teams scout Turkey, right? There are a number of great players in Turkey, guys, and it's a place that we don't notoriously scout. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, Man United should start scouting Turkey because that's what Galatasaray would do. You know, and they will get a player in. You know, Turkey's not a weak league; it's quite strong. We witnessed it firsthand, of course, with Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, Istanbul, Besiktas, of course, guys, and Besiktas in the past. So we know that it is a difficult difficult league. We know that it's not an easy league. You know, I think it's actually harder than the Scottish league. It's harder than the Dutch league, in my personal opinion. So I don't know why we don't look at Turkey as a viable option, you know, to be honest with you. And yes, Galatasaray will find another player. Of course they will, obviously, but obviously they are partisan in regards to their crowd, fireworks, flares. Welcome to hell. Do you remember that? I remember the old days in the 90s when it was welcome to hell, of course. So, you know what? It's going to be difficult for us to get Osimhen this window, of course, but we could get Mawani on loan and end the loan contract in the summer, and then we get Osimhen in the summer, of course, guys. Unless Mawani does absolutely fantastically well and absolutely rips the place apart, and then absolutely brilliant, of course. We would love that. Ugarte from BG has done great after they wrote him off. Absolutely. Lies around me. You know what? We can't judge players based on what they did at other clubs. We can't do that. We can look at the likes of Eric Cantona, for example, who done rubbish at other clubs. Not rubbish, but had problems at other clubs. and then came to Man United and found their niche. Do you know what I mean? Found their home, so to speak. We all knew Ugarte was a fantastic player. We all knew how good Ugarte is. Ugarte needed a chance. Some of these players just need a chance, don't they? Some of these players just need to find their home. That's, you know, some of these players just need to find their home. And you never know. Mawani might find his home in Manchester United. You never know. And he might do fantastically well, as with Victor Osimhen as well, of course. There was rumours about Victor Osimhen's personality. There was rumours about Mawani's personality, but I'm not interested in that. Everyone was saying that how bad Ugarte's personality is, you know, and we've heard lots of stories about other players that have signed for Man United in the past and end up being legends at Man United about their attitude problem. To be honest with you, an attitude problem is not necessarily a bad thing. You need that bit of passion. You need that bit of edge. In my opinion, some Man United players have been too nice, you know what I mean? And that has been the problem. Vlahovic, his lifestyle is bad when makes Ronaldinho like an angel. Oh my goodness me, stat.news and his wages 350 bad. Personally, lies around me, he wouldn't be my first choice. But would we judge Vlahovic on the way he is? Personally, I wouldn't judge him on that. But one thing I would say is that we need to keep it in mind. Because I've been speaking, writing, raving. I'm not going to be a flip-flop because I've been writing and raving about how Sir Alex Ferguson used to sign players and how he used to get to know the character rather than just the footballer. He used to get to know the family, he used to get to know his personal life. Is he married? Is he got a girlfriend and stuff like that? Alex Ferguson used to do things like that when he was about to sign a player. He used to get to know them personally. So I would be a hypocrite to say, as I've been banging on about this all week and all month, to say that we should sign Vlahovic, let's go for Vlahovic, if his personal life is not up to scratch. You know what I mean? That is something that, you know what, we've had enough of these party animals, so to speak. We've had enough of that. You know, we've had that with Marcus Rashford. We've had that with other players in the past. We've had shenanigans with Jadon Sancho, you know, and obviously everyone else who's been causing us problems over the last years, of course, guys. So it is a very good point, lies around me. And it is a very important point. And you remind me of that point. Brilliant. You know, because at the end of the day, you know what, we're not only signing the footballer, we're signing the man. We're signing the person as well. Do you know what I mean? And this is one thing that we have to be careful of course, going forward. Is Coleman the right profile player? He is more Xerxes type player. He is the guy that creates chances and links up play rather than out of the strike, but he isn't prolific. He's not prolific, but you're absolutely right, Almek. He is that link man. He's a bit like Xerxes, but quicker. So he's a bit like Xerxes, but faster. I like Xerxes, but Xerxes is slow. And that is the problem with Xerxes. Mawani's a lot quicker. Ruben Amorim wants a lot more faster players in his team. And when you look at the Premier League over the history, what teams are successful? Generally, teams are successful. The quickest teams are successful. But you cannot. There's no substitute for pace. You need pace, and Man United lack pace at the moment, in my opinion. They really do. We're not a quick team. We don't have fast players. I mean, unless we bring on Garnacho, we're not really a quick team. Ahmad is quick, yes. But the rest of it is very slow. Sometimes our midfield is tortoise-like. Do you know what I mean? So Man United need to get more quicker players. And Mawani is an upgrade to Xerxes. I feel sorry for Xerxes, though. But you know what? Why not keep Xerxes and get Mawani as well? And let's work them together. You never know what can happen, of course, guys, at the end of the day. It's been a bit unfair in regards to what has happened with, obviously, Joshua Xerxes. He was a sacrificial lamb, of course, against, I think it was Wolves, wasn't it? Wasn't he the sacrificial lamb, or wasn't it at Old Trafford, wasn't it? Yeah, the last game at Old Trafford, yeah, against Wolves. He was a sacrificial lamb, and it could have been anyone coming off that pitch and they would have been booed, you know, because people were looking for a person to blame, and that time it was Xerxes because he was coming off the pitch. So the crowd generally thought, oh, you know what, he's to blame. Do I criticize the fans? I can't criticize Man United fans doing what they wanted to do. They were frustrated, they're angry. It's been a decade of underachievement, of course, but I myself wouldn't boo a player. I would never do that. But it is what it is. And there is rumours that Xerxes wants to stay at Man United. Contrary to other reports yesterday, they wanted to leave Man United. There are rumours that he wants to fight for his place and he wants to play for Man United and he wants to be a successor at Man United. Now, I don't know what you guys make about that, but you know what? For me, I think if he wants to stay at Man United, he's got to be willing to warm the bench and, you know what, take his chance when his chance comes. Because at the moment he comes on and he doesn't really take his chance, grab his chance, you know what I mean, by the cojones, if you know what I mean. But he doesn't really take his chance, so we'll have to wait and see. Good morning, Easton. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Cola is actually better than being present in the box and is more of a Jackson type, to be honest. Look, you know what, Cola, look, you don't play for France if you're a poor player. And you know what? He's had a number of caps for France. They rely on him a lot. He's a link man in the French team, of course, and he is a very good player. He's very good at playing in behind. You know what? We don't know how he's going to be at Man United. I would argue in regards to PSG that no one really makes it at PSG. Name me some players that have done well at PSG. You can argue that Di Maria did well at PSG. A couple of players here and there did well at PSG. But PSG is a bit like a graveyard for talent. You know what I mean? A bit like Man United, some might argue, but they are a graveyard for talent. And, you know, no one really goes there and absolutely sets the world alight. You know what I mean? And that is a bit of a problem. That's a cultural problem they have, like Man United have, of course. So I wouldn't judge him. I wouldn't paint him with a brush that, you know what, he's going to do the same at Man United. He's going to be bad at Man United. He's not going to score any goals. He's not going to be prolific, because he might be. You never know. And we have to wait and see, of course. I think some players just have good PR who cover for them. But Casemiro appears nice, but I suspect he causes issues behind the scenes when he does not get his way, as he's fallen out with managers. Yeah. He's also a very, very intelligent guy. He is. In regards to Casemiro, he researches football. He reads books about football. Did you know? He reads books about football. But, you know, one thing I would say is that you're absolutely right, Goals for George. You don't know what happens behind the scenes. He has fallen out with managers in the past. He's a very opinionated guy. His Twitter page, in regards to his social media and his Twitter page, etc., are very positive, are very like Man United pro. I like that. But as you said, that could be a smokescreen for something more sinister, isn't it? So we could look at that and say, like, you know what? Look at him. He's Man United through and through and that. But then again, what we want as fans, we want to see it on the pitch. We want to see Casemiro on the pitch playing well, you know, not giving simple balls away and stuff like that. There's a reason that Ruben Amorim has left Casemiro out of the squad. There's a reason. And Ruben Amorim wouldn't just leave him out. You know what I mean? Leave him out of the team. He wouldn't just do that. Why is that? You know what I mean? He opted for Mainu and Ugarte against Liverpool, and it did very well. I mean, and that goes to show you where Ruben Amorim's faults are, of course. Big up Dylan, my brother. What's going on? TLC 3 goals, America, only 2 in the League One. Moani is not good enough. One thing I would say, Dylan, you have a good point, my friend. You have a good point, right? Goals do change games and goals are important, but we also need to look at the fact that impacting games and, you know what, bringing players into play, hold up play, assists, you know, I'm interested, overall impact on the game. I'm interested to learn that. I wouldn't judge anyone too much on what happens at PSG, but it is a loan deal, guys. It would only be a loan deal. If we keep Xerxes, if we keep Rasmus, what's the harm in getting Moani in as a player on loan? It's no harm, is it? You know, we need a squad, and that would be good. I think that would be a good addition for Man United. And unless, look, you know, Tottenham want him, Juventus want him as well. You know what I mean? We can't be beggars at the moment. What I would say is that we get him until the end of the season. If it doesn't work out, we sign someone else. And that would be good for Man United, I think, for the squad. You know, because at the end of the day, I feel like if you got to think that what will fit Ruben Amorim's system, what will work for Ruben Amorim, you know what I mean? And that's what we need to look at. But you've got a good point. He's not prolific. I absolutely agree with that. He's not. He's never been prolific. And that's what we have to look at. But he can be a important piece in a puzzle, if you know what I mean. You know, and it can be the glue that knits everything together. Do you know what I mean? It could be that. Do you know what I mean? Good morning, Kazi. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Absolutely. I don't like booing, and I don't think Xerxes is that bad of a footballer, but booing someone that's been there a few months, they should boo the senior players down high wages they want to boo. Absolutely, SLD. I absolutely agree with you, my friend. I agree with you. Booing, if you're going to boo someone, boo the players that have been there for years, right? And one thing about the interview after the game in regards to Bruno and Ruben Amorim, Bruno said that, oh, we play well against Liverpool, but we have to do it against Southampton, for example. This is what Bruno said. But I was very pleased with the commentator, with the guy who's asking the questions, the journalist, who said to Bruno, but you need to look at yourself in the mirror as well. And that's exactly right. Because we're throwing young players under the bus, and we shouldn't be doing that. You know, the problem is, the issue that we had is that Ruben Amorim took off a player. He decided to take off Xerxes at that moment in time, right? He decided to take off Xerxes. That could have been anyone. That could have been Bruno. You know what I mean? That could have been Maguire. That could have been anyone. And the crowd would have booed the same. You know what I mean? So At least I think they would have. Guys, I can't say hypothetically or speculate, but at least I think they would have been, because the crowd at the time were looking for a scapegoat. They were looking for someone to blame. And at that present time, there's that narrative around Xerxes that, oh, he's lazy, he's slow, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So people just fed into that. And I think it was wrong. I do. Do I blame the crowd for being booing? No, I don't. Because at the end of the day, they're frustrated. But we need to be more calculated in the way we aim our frustration. And that's what I would say, because you can hurt a player, damage a player for good like that. And at Man United, we don't do that, do we? And that's just spot on, SLD. You know what I mean? We should aim at more of the experienced players there who deserve that. You know what I mean? In my opinion. Big up, SLD. Matt, what is the aim of a January transfers? Is it the Europa or avoid relegation? We should do deals in January, save money for the summer. I think what's good about the January transfer window, Almac, is that we can do loans with obligations or just loans. You know what I mean? And we can end it at the end of the season. We can boost our squad. We can also get players out. You know, there's no harm if we got rid of Rashford and brought in Moani, because we're not playing Rashford at the moment. So there's no harm in doing that, because we won't spend any money. Well, a very little. You know what I mean? So you can do a deal like that. And you can get it, help your season this season, get ourselves into the Europa League, win the Europa League, get into the Champions League. It will help us with players next season, in my opinion, and help us attract more players next season, of course, guys. That's in my opinion. I like aggression and physicality of Colin Morano, and he looks like a player who will work hard, press to seize the chance. He is a good presser. This is why France play him regularly. He does play for France quite regularly because of that press. He does do that, of course, guys. So I think he's a good player. I want to ask you guys the question, though. I really do. Is a striker a priority? Is a striker a priority? That's the question. Because Manchester United are very, very interested in Nuno Mendes. Of course, Nuno Mendes plays for PSG as well. But he would fetch a fee of around 60 million euros. Man United are very interested in Nuno Mendes, as we are very weak on that side of the fence, the left-hand side. Nuno Mendes fits Ruben Amorim's tactics like a T, like a fish to water. He fits Ruben Amorim's system. He could play left wing-back, he could play left midfield, he could play left-sided centre-back as well. So Nuno Mendes is high on Manchester United list of signings. But would you get a Nuno Mendes, or would you go after a player that is a little bit more cheaper, you know? We were talking about, of course, Dorgu. Of course, guys, people know about Patrick Dorgu. I've been talking about Patrick Dorgu for a while. The only thing with Patrick Dorgu is Patrick Dorgu mainly plays on the right. Dorgu is a left footer. He's an inverted right back. But Dorgu can play on the left as well. So you got Dorgu, who represent a much cheaper transfer fee than of course, Mendes. Dorgu would cost around 20 million euros. He's 20 years old. He's younger, only by 2 years, 22. Fabrice, obviously, Mendes is. Nuno Mendes. He is Danish, Dorgu. And he's a good player for the future, Mr. Dorgu. He can play on the right and left as well. His contract runs out, of course, in 2024. So, you know, Patrick Dorgu could come to Man United on a free transfer. His contract, at the end of the day, his contract expires 2029. Sorry, guys. My apologies. I'm thinking of Mendes. So in a year, Mendes can come on a free transfer, or Man United can pay 60-odd million and get him in. You know what I mean? So that is obviously an interesting thing, of course, guys, in regards to that. But would you go for a Dorgu, or would you go for a Nuno Mendes? You know, it is a difficult one. I mean, I want a specialist left wing back. I want someone with a left foot specialist. That's what I want at the end of the day. I don't want someone who's a right foot inverted like that. So I'm going to go for Nuno Mendes. Man United will be looking to offload Balasia in the summer. Man United will be looking at options with Luke Shaw, seeing if they can get him out of the club. There are rumours about Luke Shaw going to Napoli. You know, there are rumours about that. I don't want to upset my Napolitan family, by the way. I have a Napolitan family, guys, so you know I don't want to upset them too much by throwing our dead wood at them. Here's Rashford, here's McTominay, here's Luke Shaw. Napoli like us at the moment because at the end of the day, we gave them McTominay and he's doing fantastically well. Scored again at the weekend, guys. And he is in line to win the Scudetto with Napoli, of course, guys. So they're going to love him, of course, guys. But I would go for Nuno Mendes. I would. because Nuno Mendes is an proven left winger, and I think he'll be brilliant at Man United. I really do. I really do, guys. Let's read some of these. He is a headache for my defenders. Mine will be a good addition for the rest of the season. We need runners and intense players. Mine, I agree, Easton. Absolutely, I agree. I don't think we can be spoiled as a fan base to say that we wouldn't bring Mawani in on loan when we're very light up front. At the moment, we just got Rasmus Højlund and Xerxes. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say no to the likes of Mawani to bring him in on loan. You know, more experienced. You know what I mean? More know-how in regards to the game and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say no. Absolutely no. Goes to George. I would like to believe that Xerxes would stay and fight because this is the biggest move that threw him into the spotlight at United. Dutch media will crucify him if he runs back to Italy. That's true. Ideally, I would have thought that Xerxes would want to stay at Man United. Of course, it's not up to him. It is up to Ruben Amorim if he wants him or not. If he wants to send him out on loan, let's see what happens with that. Ideally, it would be nice if Xerxes stays at Man United and becomes a success at Man United. I would like that. You know, I would like Xerxes to become a success at Man United, of course, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know what, I like the player. And I liked the player before we signed him. I mean, I'll give you an example, guys. You know, I used to do a lot of betting back in the day when I was in London, and I would bet on games and stuff. And every time I would see a score, I would see Xerxes scoring, Xerxes scoring, Xerxes scoring. I thought, who's this Xerxes guy? You know what I mean? And you know what? He is a good player. But, you know, football, one of the biggest parts of football is confidence. And I think if you don't have confidence, of course, you know what? It is very hard to build back that confidence. It's a bit like running with a fridge on your back or running through cement. If you, as a striker, you don't have confidence, it's very hard to pick it up. And then when the crowd get on your back, I can only imagine how difficult it is for a player like Xerxes to pick up the levels. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it is difficult, but it is what it is. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Big up goals for George, as usual. Cole has played 10 games. He's scored 3 goals. Xerxes 23, 3 goals, 1 assist. There you go. He's 26, though. He's 26. We can't disagree. And obviously, Xerxes is playing in the Premier League, which is the hardest league in the world, guys. That is one thing. Philip Congrave, what's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. Sal, why didn't Sky check offside for Liverpool's first goal? The handball for Liverpool. Absolutely. Harry got a yellow for one of the tackles since he joined us. Just to hear your view. Philip, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble. What I say is going to be, you know what I say, but I don't sugarcoat things. I'm not Willy Wonka. I won't sugarcoat anything, guys. What I would say is that there is a sinister side to the PGMOL that, you know what, is becoming very, very obvious. And this sinister side is particularly aimed at Manchester United. Over the last couple of years in particular, and beyond, Manchester United have had decision after decision after decision go against us, which was contradicted a week later. For example, the neck grab by Casemiro, which a week later, which was a red card, and then a week later, I think someone else did it, and it was even worse. It was like that, and then he gave him a yellow. It was off. It was not checked. Whatever people think about the offside, whether it was or wasn't, it should have been checked by VAR. It was not checked by VAR. There was a handball in the box. It was not even thought about, not even mentioned in the media, nothing, not even talked about. Right? But then when you think about, you know what? I thought that Mr. Oliver was fussy. I thought he's the guy whose attention to detail is absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? Or bad, in other words. Because he's the one who gave the penalty against West Ham when we needed a guy in a... What did we need? What did we need? Basically, dinosaur discovery. You know, we needed to go to the bloody Discovery Channel to search out, you know what I mean, where the penalty was. You're looking for it. And it was looking after. And they wanted to give the penalty. But when Man United is concerned, and we can just give an example of Garnacho against Tottenham. You remember? Penalty for Man United. I firmly believe that shot from Garnacho was going in the back of the net. Penalty against Man United. And then we can look at, you know, the offside against Arsenal last season. You know, and we can look at that, which was not offside. And it took a bloody explorer to find out that it was offside. Then in the same game, we can look at the Declan Rice goal as well. That was a foul, and it was a corner. Then we can look at the Arsenal game this season. It was a foul on Onana. You know what I mean? We could say that as well. Then we can look at the Tottenham game at the London Stadium, and we could say at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we could say that was a foul by in there. And you know what? These are just things I'm remembering on top of my head. So look, when I talk about the Premier League and I talk about Man United, I know that Man United have caused a lot of these referees and officials a lot of pain over the last 30 years under Alex Ferguson. But it seems like they're using all that pain to get back at us now. Because at the end of the day, it's not like I don't like blaming the referees. I hate being the one who throws excuses out there and stuff like that. I'm the one who owns it, guys. You know what I mean? But these referees, like the penalty for Liverpool, you know what? Okay, you want to give a penalty, Eddie's arm up. Okay, you want to give a penalty, fine. But be consistent. He done exactly the same thing in the other side of the box. Nothing was given. It happened. I mean, I remember it happening against Wolves. I think it happened. It happened. I mean, there's a number of decisions. I can only remember one penalty shout, right, that has gone Man United's way in regards to it should have been a penalty for the opposition. And that was the Wolves game a year ago. That's the only one. Since then, decision after decision after decision has gone against Man United. Absolutely fit. That's my opinion. I see Kolo as a placer for Rashford, front left side, right winger. Could be Lies Rami, could be. I mean, we're not going to lose anything. How about doing a swap deal? Maybe Rashford goes to PSG. Kolo Muani comes to Man United. You never know, of course. Of course, guys. Good morning, Fanatic8, the legend. Fanatic8, what's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see Fanatic8 in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Of course. Goals to George. Bruno Onyemachi at Boa Vista has some skill set, as Dargu, but would cost less than 6 million. Scouts must do their jobs, as there are many cheap options that can grow into left wing back role easily. I agree, Goals to George. Spot on. I also know a number of talented left backs in South America that could possibly come to Man United as well. I mean, we need to do our scouting, guys. We really do need to get our scouting heels on at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, we're overpaying, you know, and we shouldn't be overpaying for these players. We should look for players, look for good players, but Man United at the moment are in a position where can we take that risk? You know, can we take that risk? I don't know. I mean, Nuno Mendes, at the end of the day, is a fantastic player. And I would go for Nuno Mendes. I really would. But he is going to cost 60, 70 million, which is going to be obviously a big price tag. And it would take a big chunk of our budget this season. You know what I mean? And for next season. So if we can find someone with an extraordinary skill set who is undoubtedly got the potential to be an absolute baller, a world-class player, why not go for him? Why not go for Enemachi? Why not go for him? We can see, innit? We'll have to wait and see. Big up Afro Soup. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Monitor, I applaud Amram for the interview after Liverpool. Our players are clowns, and they only show up when they feel like. Absolutely. And this has been going on, Afro Soup, for years and years. And I'm so happy that Ruben Amram has called it out. Ruben Amram could have easily came onto that interview and said, I loved the performance. It was a brilliant performance. We were brilliant. We should have won. Blah, blah, blah. Honest. I'm mad. Why are you mad? I'm mad because they lose to Bournemouth and they lose to Wolves, but they put in this performance against the best team in Europe at the moment. Some may say. So at the end of the day, I agree with him. And this is a cultural problem. No other manager has mentioned this. Other managers would be more giddy. Other managers would be a bit more, critical, a bit more happy, so should I say, a bit more overly zealous, if you know what I mean. But not Ruben Amram. Ruben Amram is that guy. Big up, Pearl. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up yourself. Hope you're good. Absolutely. Goldshot, I think United and Xerxes made a mistake in not going on a preseason to States. Made a mistake on going on preseason to States to bond with the teammates and not exposure to the magnitude of United globally. He stayed at Carrington, and which was wrong. You know what, Goals to George? You speak a lot of sense, mate. And to be honest with you, I've always believed that football is measured on the finest margins. Yeah, the finest margins. And that includes things like you just said, going on the tour, getting to know the players, getting to know the magnitude of Manchester United, 100,000 stadium. Do you know what I mean? And Man United fans all around the world getting to know who we are, what a great big club we are. You know what I mean? That is a good thing. You know what I mean? And I don't think we approached that transfer right. I was a bit funny about the transfer. I know the transfer dragged on a little bit. I was a bit funny. I liked Xerxes, but yeah, we didn't see much of Xerxes in the preseason, did we? And we needed to do that. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. We needed to see more of him at the preseason, you know. But don't be surprised if Man United do look for players, you know, in other countries, in South America and in other continents that, you know what, could blow up and be great players in the future. Don't be surprised Man United doing that. Man United are building for the future. Man United are bringing in players for the future. Although, unless there is an exceptional talent like a Nuno Mendes that could come in, then you know what? Man United won't do any deals. Nuno Mendes is high on Manchester United's radar. They do want Nuno Mendes. And to be honest with you, I want Nuno Mendes. But I wouldn't be unhappy if Man United do get an unknown quantity. I wouldn't be unhappy if Man United do get a nominati, Meiti. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Onimiechi, of course. I wouldn't be unhappy about that. But Man United, let's not forget, have Diego Leon, right? Let's not forget about Diego Leon. Diego Leon is a highly talented player, one for the future. Guys, Diego Leon is going to surprise a lot of people next season, in my opinion. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's get through some quotes. There is always quotes in regards to Manchester United, of course, guys. If we get through some of them right now, real quickly, let's have a look at some of the quotes that are going to be coming in right now, guys. Absolutely. So when we talk about Ahmad is about to sign a Manchester United contract. According to BBC Sport, Manchester United are expected to confirm Ahmed Diallo's new contract later this week. Of course, guys, absolutely great news. Ahmed, new contract incoming. Hopefully it's not too much, but his contract does expire in the summer, of course, so we have to be careful not to lose him for free. Manchester United are on the verge of sealing a new contract for Ahmed with final details being sorted out. The long-term deal will see improved salary for the 22-year-old. No need to take one-year option as the contract will be completely new. There you go. News about, obviously, Ahmad been an absolutely great player this season, although he has had a couple of bad games recently. Guys, look, I'm one of them people who say, you know what, we shouldn't just be throwing out contracts, but I think Ahmad has earned his contract this time. He is going to go on a free transfer if we don't give him a contract by the summer. So we have to be careful not to lose him on a free transfer, of course. In regards to Joshua Xerxes, Juventus have offered Jason Vlahovic to Manchester United as part of a deal for Joshua Xerxes. Vlahovic has just 18 months left on his deal in Turin and has shown no sign yet that he plans to extend his stay. And that is by Alex Crocker, TalkSport. Of course, I mentioned this, guys, yesterday about Vlahovic. Of course, I was talking about Vlahovic and a swap deal with Joshua Xerxes yesterday. So this was news yesterday for me. For other people, it's today, of course, guys. Absolutely. Juventus are working to bring Xerxes to Turin on loan also. Manchester United are unlikely to consider his formula for the Dutchman. This formula for the Dutchman. So at the end of the day, that was from DiMarzio, of course. So Man United are unlikely to accept the offer for Vlahovic. So there you go. Man United won't be getting Vlahovic. Juventus are pushing Joshua Xerxes. The player's agent and Juventus director have a good relationship. Juventus manager Thiago Motta is interested, and the contacts with the player's side began weeks ago. United don't want a straight loan. Man United don't want a straight loan. It's either a transfer fee or nothing, or a swap deal. So Thiago Motta, of course, managed Joshua Xerxes, which could be enticing to Joshua Xerxes last season under Bologna, of course. So he is obviously going to be interested in Joshua Xerxes. Juventus, Napoli, Inter and Milan, and several Premier League clubs want Joshua Xerxes, and they have all been told he is not going anywhere, guys. He's staying at Manchester United. There we go. We're digging our heels in. Joshua Xerxes has no interest in leaving Manchester United. He loves the club and he's determined to prove himself in the Premier League, as I was talking about in this show, of course, guys. Absolutely. Diego Dalot has been talking to the media, of course. Diego Dalot on when they will look like an Amorim team. So basically, when will Man United look like an Amorim team? We're starting to look like that already. He said, I think that's the $1 million question. We have to taste it in the big game. To be honest, there's no point in thinking too much ahead because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We have a good week to train, prepare for the game against Arsenal, and I think today is a good sign for us. Nice positive from from Diego Dalot, of course. Diego Dalot on the training last week, he said, it's been training, proper training. It's about having time on the pitch, knowing what everybody wants to do, almost like trusting ourselves that everybody will be in the right position to play in every aspect of the game, in every inch of the pitch. When you have time to know that, what to do, I think it becomes more natural. And today you saw the structure, today you saw the structure much more compact. We knew that which position where players would be in. Another free week. We will help for. I think his English is very bad. I think that's what we will need to build more. A proper team fighting for that stage, and then for the result will come. Guys, basically all he's saying is that the training this week has been absolutely fantastic. Man United get to know the positions of every single player, and the fact that Man United drew against Liverpool, was testament to the training last week. And the players, the more they train with each other, the more they get to know each other's game, of course, as he was saying. Big up. As in regards to his teammates, Diego Dalot said, as long as I'm on the pitch and outside the pitch, I would try to help them. You could see that we were more of a team. That was the biggest difference for today. But why were you not a team? Why were you not a team? That's the $1 million question. Of course. Diego Dalot on Amram saying that United starved of leaders. It pinched me. It did pinch him. It pinched Diego Dalot, guys. It pinched him right on the backside. I think that's what he wanted for every player. I've been here for a while. I know what I can step up a little bit more as well in that level. And I'm going to try to help my teammates for as long as I can. Help yourself, please, Dalot. Please help yourself. Get your game sorted out. You played well against Liverpool. Let's keep the consistency and let's see what happens, of course, Mr. Dalot. In regards to Mawani, as things stand, Manchester United, Tottenham and Juventus are viewed as leading contenders to sign Randall Kolo Mawani in the January transfer window. That is according to David Ornstein, of course, guys. And that is the big news coming out of today of Manchester United. Randall Kolo Mawani is expected to leave PSG this month, guys. So at the end of the day, that is a big news coming out of PSG and Manchester United, of course. In regards to our old friend, Marcus Rashford, AC Milan will face high competition for Marcus Rashford from all over Europe. Marcus Rashford has been showing the interest of various clubs in Serie A, including Juventus, Napoli, and AC Milan, of course, guys. AC Milan are one of the several clubs who are considered Marcus Rashford. The only option for Serie A side would be a loan move, with Manchester United paying a significant portion of his salary. So basically, as I was explaining earlier in the show, if they can pay a percentage of his salary, he can go to Serie A on loan. AC Milan are one of the clubs set to hold talks about a loan deal. Marcus Rashford, other clubs are expected to approach United to see if they can strike a deal. Movements around Rashford are set to start, and that could start, guys, as soon as 72 hours, of course, guys. That could be, of course. Marcus Rashford is being targeted by AC Milan regarding the potential loan, any deal dependent on Manchester United paying a sizable portion of the salary. Whether Manchester United are willing to do so is yet to be decided. We need the other team to pay at least 50% of the salary, guys. We need the other, that was Jamie Jackson in The Guardian. We needed other teams, the opposition team to pay the salary, at least 50% or plus. In regards to Casemiro, guys, Ben Jacobs has said he is now more open to the idea of Saudi Al Nassr are in a squad and financial position to move. And Casemiro will become one of the top 5 paid players in Saudi if he agrees to join. Big drive to try and get him. Now, this is what I've been talking about in the earlier show, guys. They are enticing Casemiro with a 500,000 a week transfer kitty, of course. That is not too bad. Of course, guys, I wouldn't mind. He also said, Jason Blunt from the Telegraph has said Manchester United are keen to sign a midfield replacement for Casemiro, and moving him on would help fund that. There you go, guys. So I would say Man United should prioritize a left back, in my opinion, but that is just me. Saudi deal makers believe Casemiro is available for around 25 million. I would take your hand off for that money, snatch your hand off, take the wage off the book, take 25 million. Absolutely fantastic. We get 25 million for Jadon Sancho as well. That'd be absolutely perfect, wouldn't it? The Saudi Pro League is hopeful of signing Casemiro this month. The most likely destination is Al Nassr, with Cristiano Ronaldo keen on the deal. Casemiro is also open to... Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo and Casemiro are good friends, of course. Let's not forget that. So that is the news coming out of Man United from all around the world, of course, guys. We're bringing you the latest of Man United news, of course, guys. That is absolutely perfect, of course, guys. Absolutely, absolutely. Almac, are we getting Naipan and Jad? There's plenty of rumors about the player, but no announcement. It's gone quiet on Naipan, if I'm being honest with you guys. I was speaking about Naipan, Sphere Naipan, many times on the show. He is coming to Man United, I believe. Whether that is in the summer or is now, that remains to be seen. Man United are a little bit penny pinching at the moment. Man United don't have much money. Ruben Amorim has prioritized a left back for the summer and a striker for this winter, sorry. So that is a bit of an issue, but Sphere Naipan, I'm predicting, will be a Manchester United player by the summer. That is my prediction, guys. It will be. Naipan has said that he wants to come to Man United, and to be honest with you, Man United need to get the money together. Get the pennies together, Man United. Come on. Hopefully, Casemiro leaves. Got to get his 300 after. I mean, imagine how much we get rid of Casemiro and we get 25 million as well. How brilliant would that be? I'm saving amount of money we'll be saving, you know what I mean? And we can bring in a few players as well. Imagine we got rid of Rashford and Casemiro and Luke Shaw and Ericsson and, you know what I mean? Lindelof. Imagine how much money we'll be saving for FFP. Man United, look, it's exciting times if you want to think about the logical side of things in regards to Man United and you think about the summer, how Man United can do business. It's very important that Man United qualify for the Champions League. Very important because the Champions League is enticing. Obviously, the Champions League attracts players, rather than you being in Europa League or nothing. It's better to qualify for the Champions League. It is more of a pulling point, of course, guys. Definitely. Absolutely. But yeah, guys, that is the news surrounding Man United. And do you know what? We are counting down to the Arsenal game on Sunday, guys. We have a full week of training. That is good. Can't wait for the week of training. Brilliant, of course. We should be ready for the Arsenal game. I want to win the Arsenal game. I don't like Arsenal, guys. Little secret, I don't. No, nothing personal. It's the fans I don't like. I think they're over the top. But you know what? I would say that, in my opinion, if Man United can get their act together this week, I think we can do Arsenal on Sunday. And I think we should believe in it. I think we should believe in the game and go in there and win. And what better incentive to carry on this season than drawing with Liverpool and beating Arsenal? You know what I mean? Because people looked at this month and they were looking at this month a week ago and saying, oh my goodness me, where are we going to be in 1 month's time? You know what I mean? It could actually be good. It could actually be like Man United are moving. Man United are going forward. Man United could be in the top half of the table next month. You know what I mean? That is a good thing. You never know, guys. Anything can happen. Football's a strange game. And you know what we have to say is that we have to believe. And that's the only thing we can do. Transfer noise is coming out every single day. But rest assured, Man United have a transfer list of over 100 players. So you're going to be hearing a lot about certain players. A lot of players are going to be recycled. Names are going to be recycled. Mawani was mentioned in the summer. I mentioned Dorgu in the summer, of course. I've mentioned Sphere Naipan in the summer. I mentioned, obviously, Diego Leon in the summer. I've mentioned a lot of players in the summer. And I know that these players are showing interest in Manchester United. And, Man United do want these players still. That hasn't changed. Man United still want Jared Branthwaite. You know what I mean? And that is another player that Man United want. They still want him. They wanted Nuno Mendes a while ago. Do you know what I mean? But now that Ruben Amorim is taking charge of Man United, the Nuno Mendes stories have gained elevation. And to be honest with you, I'll be happy if we sign Nuno Mendes, but it would take up a big chunk of our transfer funds, our transfer kitty, of course. So that is an interesting one, guys. That is an interesting one. But we move on, and we move on to the Arsenal game, guys. And you know what? I will be here live if any news breaks. There is rumors that there will be some news within 72 hours, guys. Man United are battling Spurs for the signature of Kolo Muani, of course, guys. So there could be some news in regards to that for the loan deal, of course. And Man United's left back dilemma: do Man United penny pinch, or do Man United spend big on Nuno Mendes? There's lots of news coming out of Man United. We're going to have to wait and see what happens in regards to that. But rest assured, I will be here live if anything does break of that nature. If I'm not asleep, guys. if I'm not asleep, because at the end of the day, I live in the UAE at the moment. So whenever news breaks, if it's late, I'm asleep. If it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm asleep. So I will give you the news. But if it's in the day, I will get it first, guys. I will get the news first and I'll bring the news to you straight away, guys. Absolutely, absolutely. Guys, thank you everyone for joining me. Really do appreciate it a lot. Guys, I want to say every single show how important you guys are to the channel and how much I appreciate every single one of you. We're on the road to 6,000. Can we get to 6,000 very soon, guys? I hope so. I want to get to 6,000 by hopefully March, around that time. If we can get to 6,000, we're on the road to 10,000, guys, and we won't stop as a community, of course, guys. Big up Cargo, Freddie. Big up yourself. Thank you so much for joining me. Anyway, thank you, Cargo. Good to see you, mate. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. The news keeps coming in, guys. The news keeps flooding in. Let's keep believing, guys. Glory, glory, Man United. I'll be live if any news breaks, of course, guys. Have a splendid day. Don't do anything I would do or I wouldn't do, however you put it. But you know what? Take it easy, guys. See you later on Chatterbox. Take it easy. Peace.